Hi class, good day. Welcome to another topic for discussion in basic accounting. Today's topic is all about the elements of financial statements. Game? Game. There are 5 elements of financial statements or known as elements of accounting. Number 1, asset. Number 2, liability. Number 3, equity. Number 4, revenue. Number 5, expense. Mamaya, iisa-isayin natin yan. Pero, lagyan na natin to ng mnemonics or acronym para madaling tandaan. Tawagin nating ALEREX. So again, what are the 5 elements of financial statements? Number 1, asset. Number 2, liability. Number 3, equity. Number 4, revenue. And number 5, expense. Or simply, ALEREX. Siya nga pala, bago natin simulan yan, ano nga ulit yung financial statements? Correct. These are reports about the financial status, financial performance, changes in equity, and cash flows of the business. These are reports namely as statement of financial position or known as balance sheet, income statement, or can be called as profit and loss statement, statement of changes in equity, and statement of cash flows. Ang elements na makikita natin sa statement of financial position ay yung asset, liabilities, at equity. Sa income statement naman, ang makikita natin na elements ay yung revenues at expenses. Sa statement of changes in equity, basically ang makikita natin na element ay yung equity. At sa statement of cash flows, ang makikita natin na element dyan ay asset. Anong klaseng asset? Cash. Tama. Okay, now let's proceed. What is asset? Asset is a present economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of past events. Kunin natin dito yung mga importanteng words to explain ano ang asset. Ang asset daw ay economic resource or simply resources. Pag sinabi mo kasing resources, something na napupunan yung mga pangangailangan ng tao. In effect ay nagbe-benefit ka. Nagbe-benefit ka sa paanong paraan o kadahilanan. Nagbe-benefit ka sa kadahilanang yung resources na yan, number 1, ay maaaring mag-produce ng revenues, direkta man o hindi, para sa business. O di kaya, number 2, yung resources na yan ay nakakatulong sa pang-araw-araw na operasyon ng business. Example tayo. Isa sa magandang halimbawa ng asset na nagpo-produce ng revenues para sa business ay inventory. Yung inventaryo ng business. Kung ang business ay isang merchandising or manufacturing type, ang pagbenta ng inventory ay siyang magbibigay ng revenues or sabihin na natin kita para sa business. Kasi naman, it is the ordinary course of business, or should I say, normal naman talaga ang pagbenta ng goods or inventory ng mga merchandising at manufacturing business. Ang inventory ay direktang magbibigay ng revenue para sa business. Meron ding mga asset na hindi direktang nakapagbibigay ng revenues sa business. Isang halimbawa nito ay yung mga machinery or machines na nagpoproseso sa pag-produce ng inventory. Hindi man yung mismong machine yung binebenta mo para kumita, pero ang machine ang nagiging dahilan para makapag-produce ka ng inventory na siyang ibebenta mo para kumita ka. Tama? Sa asset naman na bagamat hindi nakakapagbigay ng revenues, direkta man o hindi, pero nakakatulong sa pang-araw-araw na operasyon. Halimbawa ng mga asset na nakakatulong sa pang-araw-araw na operasyon ng business ay mga upuan, lamesa, lateral cabinets, mga computers, mga office supplies, printer, mga delivery transportation equipment tulad ng trucks or mga motor. At syempre, cash. Lahat ng yan ginagamit para masuportahan ang pang-araw-araw na operasyon ng business. Another word to highlight in the definition of asset is this, controlled, or simply control. Para daw sabihin natin na asset yan, dapat kontrolado ng business. Ibig sabihin, kahit hindi mo pagmamay-ari, basta kontrolado mo, pwede mong i-consider na asset. Okay, let me clear. In general to, may mga guidelines or accounting standards kasi tayong dapat isaalang-alang paukol dito. But the very point is the existence of control in order for the business to consider it as asset. Example tayo. Sabihin natin na walang sariling facility production area ang isang manufacturing company. Sa halip nangungupahan lang sila sa iba para sa malawakang produksyon ng inventory nila. Sabihin natin na ang inventaryo ng manufacturing company ay mga tinapay. Ngayon, yung manufacturing company ay may control to maximize the benefits sa paggamit ng facility area or space na inuupahan nila. Pwede nilang gamitin hindi lang as facility sa pagmamanufacture ng tinapay. Pwede rin sa pagmamanufacture ng ibang produkto or pwede din namang ipasublease yung facility area sa iba. Pero ito'y general considerations. Of course, it depends on the specifications of the lease agreement. What are the do's and don'ts by the lessor and the lessee. Ang point lang dito, kahit hindi kay manufacturing company yung facility area, makukonsider itong asset niya under the name of right of use asset account as guided by International Financial Reporting Standards or IFRS number 16 na tungkol sa leases. Another point, palagi nating naririnig na pag magaling at nag-e-excel ang isang empleyado sa trabaho niya ay sinasabing asset siya ng kumpanya. Ang tanong ba talaga dito, matatawag ba talagang asset ang isang empleyado? Ang sagot, hindi. At kailanman hindi. Bakit? Because of this word, control. Napapasunod natin sila dahil sinasahuran natin sila sa ginagawa nilang serbisyo para sa kumpanya. But at any point in time, they can easily quit or resign. Tama? At maghanap ng trabaho sa iba. So to consider as assets, it should be controlled economic resources. Pahapyawan lang natin yung phrases sa definition ng asset na as a result of past events. Technically, assets can be acquired in exchange of cash or non-cash assets, in exchange of obligations or performance of service or sale of products. There are two classifications when it comes to presentation of assets in the financial statements. It is classified as number 1, current assets, and number 2, non-current assets. Current assets are assets that are expected to be realized or consumed within 12 months. Non-current assets are assets that are not classified as current asset. Examples of accounts of asset categories under current assets are cash, receivables, inventory, prepaid expenses, accrued income, and short-term investments. While examples of accounts of asset categories under non-current assets are equipment, furnitures, land, building, machines, leasehold improvement, vehicles, deferred tax asset, and intangible assets such as trademark, patent, and computer software. Next element of financial statements is liability. Liability is a present obligation of the entity to transfer an economic resource as a result of past events. Sa simpleng salita, ito ay utang or claims ng mga creditor sa business. Now to explain the definition of liability. Tanong, paano ba natin masasabi na may utang tayo? O may present obligation tayo? Di ba nga kaya may present dahil may past? Kaya may present obligation kasi may past events na nangyari. So ano tong past events na to? Kaya nagkaroon tayo ng utang. Reasons are because, number 1, you have obtained economic benefits. Or number 2, you have taken an action. As a consequence, you are expected to settle it or expected to transfer economic resource. Let's have example. Ako ay may sari-sari store. Ikaw manufacturer ng mga junk foods. We entered into a contract agreed that you as my supplier will deliver items that I will order. Once delivered, I will pay you within 30 days from the date of delivery. Question: on that point, do I have a present obligation? Answer: no. This future commitment or expenditure can be avoided. At isa pa, wala pa naman akong na-receive na counterpart economic benefits from the supplier. Tama? Nagpirmahan pa lang kami na ganito. Once delivered yung ordered items ko, I will require myself to pay you, supplier, within 30 days from the date of delivery. May nangyari na bang delivery? Wala pa. Therefore, I have no present obligation yet. Another, today you signed a contract, employment contract, that you as my employee will receive a 20,000 monthly salary in exchange of services you will render to me or on the business. On that point, do I have present obligation? Wala pa. Tama. I haven't received any economic benefits or service from my newly hired employee. So therefore, I have no present obligation. Tama? Plus, again, present obligations exist or arise from past events, and that event can be either you have received economic benefits or you have taken an action that as a consequence will or may transfer your economic resource to that other party. Ngayon, dun sa kontrata ko with the supplier, once delivered na yung item sa akin, may present obligation na ako kasi na-receive ko na yung items or yung goods. I have obtained economic benefits at yun nga yung na-deliver na yung in-order kong items. At anong usual account title ang ginagamit natin kapag may utang tayo sa supplier? Very good. Accounts payable. Yung isa pa, yung employment contract kanina. So kung nagtatrabaho na si newly hired employee, I have a present obligation. Meron na akong nakuhang benefits At yun yung nakapag-render na ng trabaho sa akin si employee. At anong usual account title ang gagamitin natin since may utang na ako sa empleyado ko out of her service? Very good. Salaries payables. Another example, yung business ko na sari-sari store ay may mga branch sa probinsya. Ngayon, dahil mahirap lang ang buhay sa probinsya, onti lang yung bumibili. Tapos yung iba, inuutang pa. Kaya, lugi na. So, ngayon, ang naging desisyon ko, itigil na yung operasyon ng mga sari-sari store ko sa probinsya. Magpo-focus na lang ako sa mga sari-sari store ko dito sa Metro Manila. Sabi ko, kailangan magkaroon ng restructuring sa business ko. By the way, class, ang restructuring or reorganization ay nagre-resulta sa pagbawas ng empleyado sa kumpanya. May matatanggal dahil pwede kasi yung ibang trabaho ay redundant na. Kumbaga, pwede naman pala na sa isang tao lang yung dating 2 taong nag-handle sa isang specific na function. O kaya naman, yung 2 functions ay pwede namang gawin ng isang tao lang. Kaya mababawasan ng mga empleyado. Ang purpose kasi ng restructuring ay para makasurvive ang company. Kasi typical tong ginagawa pag ang company ay unti-unti nang nalulugi. Ngayon, balik tayo sa example. Paano yung mga empleyado ko sa probinsya? Tama? So ganito, dahil sa mabait akong boss, kinausap ko sila. I made a statement. Sabi ko, huwag kayong mag-alala. May plano na ako para sa inyo. Yung iba, malilipat sa Metro Manila. Yung iba, pasensyahan na lang, matatanggal. Pero huwag kayo ulit mag-alala kasi babayaran ko kayo ng separation pay. I will declare a specific date. Kung kailan matitigil ang operation, sino-sino ang marerelocate, mareretain, at yung hindi na. Then i-inform ko din yung mga customer ko at suppliers ko na tigil operasyon na yung mga branch ng sari-sari store ko sa probinsya. Class, I made a statement. Ngayon, yung mga empleyado ko ba, valid ba ang expectation nila na tutuparin ko yung sinabi ko? Valid. Bakit? Kasi ako mismo yung nagsabi. Ako na may-ari ng kumpanya. At saka may detailed plan ako, tama? Yung iba marerelocate, yung iba hindi na sa ganitong lugar, sa ganitong araw, pati suppliers at customers ko informed na may restructuring. Tama? May acceptance of responsibility in my part. And because of that taken action of mine, it will create present obligation. It will create a liability under account title provisions for restructuring costs. Pwede rin akong magkaroon ng liability out of past event tulad ng sales. At anong liability yon? Tama, warranty liability. Ito ay part ng business practices na once may nabenta ka ng mga appliances, ay expected mo na magkaroon ka ng utang under the name of warranty. Kailangan mong i-repair yung mga appliances o bayaran yung mga customer mo kapag nagkaproblema yung binenta mong product sa kanila. And of course, that will be out of their control. Now, emphasize lang natin na hindi yan magiging accounting liability kung walang mangyayaring transfer of economic resource from you to other party. That's the very heart of the definition of liability. Dapat may transfer of economic resource from you to other party. Dahil kung wala, walang utang. Ang tanong, ano-ano yung mga economic resource na yan na itatransfer mo? Pwedeng cash, pwedeng non-cash asset, lupa, bahay, mamahaling gamit, or anumang asset na pwedeng pambayad. Or performance of service, pwede rin as pambayad. There are two classifications when it comes to presentation of liabilities in the financial statements. It is classified as number 1, current liabilities, and number 2, non-current liabilities. Current liabilities are liabilities that are expected to be settled within 12 months. Non-current liabilities are liabilities that are not classified as current liability. Examples of accounts of liability categories under current liabilities are accounts payable, short-term notes payable, tax payable, salaries payable, rent payable, utilities payable, accrued expenses, deferred income, and provisions. While examples of accounts of liability categories under non-current liabilities are bonds payable, lease liability, deferred tax liability, at pension payables. Equity. Equity is the residual interest in the assets of the entity after deducting liability. Lahat ng assets ng business kapag binawasan mo ng lahat ng liabilities nito, yun ang equity. Ito yung net worth ng business. And these are considered claims, not by the creditor, but by the owner. Ito kasi yung portion na natira para sa may-ari ng business. At kung mas mataas ang equity, mas maganda. Bakit? Kasi kung magkano man yun, lahat ng yun mapupunta sa may-ari. Ang tanong dito, paano ba tumataas ang equity ng isang business? Here's the formula. Beginning balance, this can be the initial investment or capital by the owner to the business at the first year of its operation. Kumbaga, paunang puhunan. Or as beginning balance as the forwarded balance of the ending balance of the last accounting period. Accounting period as per month, per quarter, or per year basis. Plus any additional investment by the owner, or minus any withdrawals made by the owner, plus net profit, or minus net loss. Net profit is being derived as when revenues of the business are greater than its expenses, while net loss is being derived as when expenses of the business are greater than revenues. The result of that will be the ending balance of the equity. The equity is called as owner's equity for a sole proprietorship, partner's equity for partnership, and shareholders' equity for corporation. Example tayo. For example, on the first year of operation ng business, initially, nag-invest ang owner ng amounting to 100,000. Then, during the first year, nagkaroon ng additional investment amounting to 20,000. At since first year of operation, lugi muna ang business. Sabihin natin na net loss is 15,000. Tapos, during the year din, nagkaroon ng withdrawals amounting to 10,000. How much is the ending capital in the first year? Tama, 95,000. Now, itong 95,000 na to, ito yung magiging beginning balance of the next accounting period. Okay? Kaya nga sinabi natin kanina na yung beginning balance or beginning capital balance, ito din yung ending capital balance ng last accounting period. So itong 95,000 na to, magiging beginning balance of the second year. So, 95,000 as the beginning capital of the second year operation. Ngayon, in the second year of operation, nagkaroon ulit ng additional investment sa owner amounting to 25,000. And this time, ang company nagkaroon na ng net profit amounting to 5,000. During the second year also, nagkaroon ng withdrawal yung owner amounting to 7,000. Tanong, how much will be the ending balance of the capital at the end of the second year? Tama, 118,000 pesos. Now let's go with another elements of financial statements, revenues, or also known as income. Revenues are increases in assets or decreases in liabilities that result in increase in equity other than those relating to contributions from holders of equity claims. Ang revenue kasi class, kung ita-translate natin yan sa Filipino, ay kita or kabig. Tama? Now for example, ang negosyo mo ay barbershop. Nag-perform ka na ng service. Ginupitan mo yung customer mo at nagbayad si customer. Okay, question. Tataas ba yung asset ng negosyo mo? Tataas. Bakit? Kasi may cash ka na na-receive galing kay customer in exchange of the service you performed. Tama? O di kaya, tataas din yung asset mo kahit hindi pa nagbabayad si customer. Kasi lalabas yun na utang niya at lalabas yun na receivable ng negosyo mo sa kanya. Specifically under accounts receivable. And accounts receivable is an example of asset. So those are examples of the definition of revenue or income as increase in assets. Mag-example naman tayo related to the definition of revenue or income as decrease in liabilities. For example, kunwari ang negosyo mo ay paupahan, okay? Yung mga magre-renta, nire-require mo na magbayad ng 3 months advance. Sabihin natin 5,000 per month. So bale 15,000 lahat. Nagbayad sila sa'yo nung May 1. Tapos May 3 daw sila lilipat dyan sa paupahan mo. Tanong, yung na-receive mo bang 15,000 nung May 1 ay kita or revenue mo na? Ang sagot, hindi. Kung hindi mo siya kita, ano mo siya? Tama, utang mo siya. The 15,000 will be considered as your liability. Ngayon, kailan mo siya magiging revenue? Pag lumipas na ang isang buwan. Pag lumipas na ang isang buwan, may marerecognize ka na revenue in the amount of 5,000. Dahil nagamit na ng customer mo yung pwestong pinauupahan mo sa kanila sa loob ng isang buwan. Ngayon, magkano na lang utang mo? 10,000 pesos. Tama. Then after next month, 5,000 na lang ang utang mo. Dahil yung 5,000 ay revenue mo na ulit. Dahil lumipas na naman ang isang buwan. And so on and so forth. That's what we meant by the definitions of revenue as a decrease in liabilities. Gusto ko lang itanong, kailan mo ba dapat sabihin na revenue or income mo na? Under the accrual principle, revenues are recognized when earned, regardless when cash is received. Revenue mo na kapag na-perform mo na yung service. Tulad ng example natin kanina sa barbershop. Kung sakaling di pa nagbayad si customer, receivable natin yun sa kanya. Di pa natin nakukuha yung pera, pero revenue na natin. Bakit? Kasi nga, na-perform na yung service or nagupitan mo na yung customer. Sa example naman natin kanina sa paupahan, kahit na na-receive mo na yung pera nung May 1, di pa natin kinonsider as revenue. Bagkus, nirecognize natin as utang. Kailan natin sinabi na revenue na natin yun? After a month pa, in the amount of 5,000. Matapos nating ma-perform yung service o matapos magamit ni customer natin yung pwestong inuupahan nila. Again, we recognize or we record revenue when earned, regardless when cash is received. Sa service type, earned yan pag na-perform na yung service. Sa merchandising at manufacturing type of business, earned yan kapag na-deliver na yung products or goods kay customer. Increase in equity other than those relating to contributions from holders of equity claims. This is really obvious, class. Okay, sabi natin kanina sa discussion natin sa equity, ang mga nagpapataas ng equity ay yung additional investment ng owner at net profit. Tama. At pag sinabi nating net profit, ibig sabihin mas malaki ang revenues kaysa sa expenses. At kahit di na natin sabihin ang revenue or income ang dahilan kung bakit tumataas ang equity, aside from contributions or additional investment by the owner. Example of accounts under revenue categories. We have service fee or service revenue, sales, interest income, rent income, dividend income, commission income, professional fee or professional income, gains. Nga pala, pag sinabi nating gains, class, these are other items of income that do not arise from ordinary course of business. Paliwanag ko lang saglit. For example, sa barbershop ulit, may revenue tayo kasi kinugupitan natin yung mga customers. And that revenue or income came from the normal or ordinary course of business. Talaga namang serbisyo ng barbershop ang manggupit ng buhok. Tama? Ngayon, kung sakaling isa sa mga electric razor na ginagamit ng barbershop ang binenta sa halagang 300 pesos pero nabili lang ng 250 pesos. So, lumalabas, kumita ka pa ng 50 pesos. Tama? Yung 50 pesos na yun, yun yung tinatawag nating gains. This is other income item na hindi nagresulta sa ordinary course ng barbershop. Other example of gains, gain on sale of non-current asset, gain from expropriation, and gain on sale of trading securities. Last element, expense. Expense are decreases in assets or increases in liabilities that result in decrease in equity other than those relating to distributions to holders of equity claims. Sa Filipino, ang expense ay gastos, tama. At kung mapapansin nyo, kabaligtaran lang to ng revenues. Example tayo. Bumili ka ng office supplies at nagbayad ka ng cash amounting to 3,000. And as we know, supplies is an example of asset, right? Ngayon, after ilang weeks, ang natirang supplies mo na lang ay nagkakahalaga ng 1,000 pesos. Yan na lang yung natitirang asset mo in the name of office supplies. Magkano ang nabawas? Tama, 2,000 pesos. And that decrease in asset or in our office supplies is what we call expense. Yung 2,000 pesos kasi na yan, ang nagamit na natin o nakonsumo na natin. Next. For example, meron tayong equipment at sa tansya natin, magagamit natin yan for 3 years sa business natin. Ngayon, habang lumilipas ang panahon at habang ginagamit natin ang equipment, nababawasan ng effectiveness nito. Samahan mo pa na nabibilad sa araw, nababasa sa ulan, o kinakalawang, sigurado talagang mababawasan ng effectiveness ng equipment. And the loss of that effectiveness of the assets lead us to properly recognize expense out of it. And the proper account for that is depreciation expense. Another example as decrease in assets ay yung tinatawag nating losses. Kabaliktaran lang din to ng gains. Losses are other expense items that do not arise from ordinary course of business. For example, nanakawan ka ng kotse na ginagamit sa business, o kaya binagyo at binaha yung mga computers ng business mo, o di kaya nasunog yung mga inventories mo. All of that will result as decrease in assets. And again, it is proper to account those losses as expenses. Next, expense as increase in liabilities. Ganito lang yan. Kapag gumastos tayo at hindi pa natin nababayaran, syempre, magiging utang yun. At obviously, tataas ang liabilities natin. Example tayo, yung mga empleyado natin. Syempre, magtatrabaho muna sila bago muna natin bayaran. Okay, ngayon, nakapagtrabaho na sila. Nakapag-render na sila ng respective services para sa kumpanya. Dapat na ba nating bayaran? Syempre. At hanggat hindi nababayaran yung sweldo nila, mananatiling utang natin yun. Kaya sinasabi nating expenses results to increase in liabilities. Nakonsumo na natin pero di pa natin nababayaran. This expense related to the service of our employees is properly recognized under salaries expense account. Another example, yung billing na na-receive natin sa Meralco, PLDT, or other internet providers, billing natin na na-receive sa tubig at sa telepono. Lahat ng serbisyong related dyan, nakonsumo na natin. Tama? Ngayon, nakonsumo o nagamit na natin nung nakaraang buwan or nakaraang cut-off na dapat na nating bayaran. Hanggat di pa natin yan nababayaran, utang natin yan. And that satisfy why we are saying that expenses results to increase in liabilities. Water, electricity, telephone, and internet bills are properly classified under utilities expense account. Again, emphasize ko lang yung accrual principle. Ito yung kadugtong dun sa sinabi natin in relation to revenues. Under accrual principle, expenses are recognized when incurred regardless when cash is paid. Parang yung example natin kanina sa office supplies, kahit na binayaran na natin ang buo, still, nag-recognize lang tayo ng expense related dun sa kung ano lang yung nagamit natin or nakonsumo natin. At yung example natin sa utilities expense, na-recognize natin siya as expense kahit na di pa natin nababayaran dahil nga nakonsumo na natin yung service na binigay ng mga utility companies. Decrease in equity other than those relating to distributions to holders of equity claims. This is again obvious class. Sa equity, ang mga nagpapababa nito ay yung withdrawals ng owner at net loss. Tama. At pag sinabi nating net loss, ibig sabihin mas malaki ang expenses kaysa sa revenues. At kahit di na natin sabihin, ang expenses ang dahilan kung bakit bumababa ang equity aside from the withdrawals by the owner. Examples of accounts under expense categories: cost of sales, salaries expense, rent expense, tax expense, interest expense, supplies expense, advertising expense, depreciation expense, utilities expense, doubtful accounts, loss from theft, loss from fire, and loss from sale of non-current asset. So, refresh lang natin ulit yung discussion natin for today. What are the elements of financial statements? Number 1, asset. Number 2, liability. Number 3, equity. Number 4, revenue. And number 5, expense. Or simply, ALEREX. At sana class, may natutunan kayo sa araw na to. Kung sakali, paki-like tong video na to, pa-share na rin, at mag-subscribe na rin sa channel para sa mga susunod na accounting topics. Nga pala, may nilagay ako na link sa comment section at description ng video na to para sa isang short quiz regarding sa topic natin. Para malaman ko rin kung may natutunan nga kayo. Remember this class, may dalawang klase ng dakilang tao. Una, yung mga pinanganak ng dakila. Pangalawa, yung tinulak para maging dakila. Pero sa kanilang dalawa, may mas dakila. Yun ay yung taong tinulak para maging dakila. Muli, maraming salamat